Summer's here, so that means new season, new EDC update. I thought I would do something a little bit different this time. After a couple of years of getting your comments and feedback, I thought I would switch my setup over to a little more of a fully fleshed out, more classic EDC with some of the items that I don't typically carry. Figured this would be a fun way to test some new things out, see if I'm missing out on anything that a few of you are surprised that I don't usually carry. So without any further ado, let's get into it. First up on the list is a notebook and pen. This is one of the most common things people were surprised I didn't carry. I use these at home all the time, but just don't usually bring them out with me. But the pen that I've been using for the past year or so and really love is from a company called Modern Fuel. It's their titanium pen. It's a really simple, elegant design. It's machined out of a single piece of titanium. It has a 100-year warranty. To be honest, it's very expensive and extravagant and probably overkill for most people. There are a ton of pen nerds though, so if that's something that you're into, it might be worth checking into yourself. This was actually sent to me to review last year and to use. I've really enjoyed it, but would have a really tough time recommending it at such a high price for most people. And then to pair with it for my notebooks, I picked up a couple packs of these last year. These are the National Parks themed Field Notes notebooks. I love all the national parks type of stuff. Any sort of outdoor type of stuff always has a nice soft spot in my heart. So been using these for a while and really enjoy them. Field Notes are classic. I used the Oregon themed ones for a long time and really like those. These just have some fun designs. They have like 6 or 7 different packs with all different designs. So check these out if you're in the market for some fresh notebooks and just, appreciate the outdoors. That's my usual note-taking setup at home. Bringing it out with me, to be honest, it still just didn't get used that frequently, so I will probably continue to use these at home, but I don't think they're going to be making another appearance in my normal EDC anytime soon. As my phone has aged, I've definitely noticed a decline in my battery life throughout the day, so I've started carrying around a power bank for me to use. This is the Bank's MagSafe 5000 milliamp hour battery. Really nice and simple to use and operate, just sticks to the back of your phone. The Nitecore MB10000 is another favorite of mine. That's probably a little bit better bang for your buck if you had to pick one, just because it's double the capacity without being much bigger, but you have to deal with cables and things. This is a nice, simple, elegant design if you do have MagSafe with your phone. Another item people seem to always be confused that I don't carry is a flashlight. So I actually got one from Woobin. This is the D1 flashlight, and I've been carrying it with me the past few months. I've always been a person that thinks just the phone flashlight is more than enough for normal day-to-day use, and being honest, that's still been pretty much the case for me when I'm out. All that being said, the past few months testing this flashlight, I have really grown to love it and use it all the time at home. Comes in about 40 bucks, so not overly expensive. It is an 1100 lumen flashlight. It's actually a flood that goes up to 175 degrees. This thing has been very useful and great to have at home. I've been using it constantly, but just I don't think I've needed to pull it out once in my EDC setup while I'm out of my apartment. Still been carrying my card holder wallet from Filson. This thing has been great. It's super beefy for a more minimalist style wallet. Has 3 card slots and then a center slot that you could put more cards in or put some cash in like I do. Just really simple, nice design, but yeah, the thickness and beefiness of this thing, it's definitely going to last a lifetime. It's built up a few scratches in patina, which I think is looking nice. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this thing ages over the years. I have my brown leather Shinola wallet that I used for probably 6 or 7 years before this, and it really looked beautiful by the end of it, and I still use that one from time to time, but I've been more on a black aesthetic, as you all know. I've been carrying a pocket knife instead of a full multi-tool for a little while, but in the spirit of this EDC update, I thought I'd switch back to my multi-tool. The Leatherman Wave Plus. I actually had a few video jobs that I had to go to over this past few months, so I always like to bring this out when I'm working. But as far as multi-tools go, I really love this thing, and I have really enjoyed having a multi-tool again compared to just a normal folding knife, and so I'm probably going to keep using this for a little while. Might switch back and forth between this and my bug out. We will see how things go, but the multi-tool is great, especially for summer. You're just out and about doing a little bit more, you're outside a little bit bit more, and it's nice to have this just to be able to handle whatever you might need. From there, I've still got my iPhone 12 Pro Max coming up on 2 years. Still working pretty well, but like I said, I have noticed some decline in the battery life. I'm gonna see what comes out with the iPhone 14 this year. Not sure if I'm gonna upgrade or not. I used to be a yearly upgrader, but now that I've had this one for a couple of years, I might hold on to it longer. I really love using this when I'm outdoors camping and backpacking and hiking. It's just nice not to be able to lug around my big camera all the time, and I do actually use this for B-roll shots for the YouTube channel as well, so like getting that better camera actually does have an impact on, you know, the YouTube channel and my business, so I do like to upgrade that stuff more frequently than I probably need to. But the 12 Pro Max still hasn't let me down, still a great phone, would definitely recommend it if you want to save some money and get something a little bit older or used. For a water bottle, I still have the slim memo bottle. This thing is 15 ounces, or I believe 450 milliliters is what it comes out to in metric. This is a really tough product for me to talk about because I've really grown to love having it. I mainly bought it because a ton of you recommended for me to check it out and to see because they had loved theirs. I'd heard some mixed reviews about it in the past, so I put off buying one for a long time, but I finally broke down and bought one after so many of you had requested it. And it's really great for a very specific niche situation. This fits in my sling bag really well, and it's great to be able to have around if I'm walking around town with my sling bag, which for me is definitely a daily thing, and that's why I've really grown to enjoy it. But in terms of recommending it for all of you, you know, there are still a lot of problems with this, and I really hate recommending stuff that's for such a specific niche use case. I think a normal traditional style water bottle is probably going to suit most of you better than this, but if you're someone that carries a sling, walks around a lot, and likes to stay hydrated, I think this is a good option if you're willing to spring the overly expensive price for it. Otherwise, I just have a really tough time recommending it, even though I have grown to really love this thing since I got it. Hopefully that makes some sense. Let me know in the comments if you have any thoughts on the memo bottles. From there, though, sunglasses. I have the Ray-Ban Wayfarer Light Forces. This is my second pair after my first pair broke about a decade in, unfortunately. My old pair withstood like 100 drops before they broke, so I don't think it's necessarily the fault of the sunglasses themselves. Kind of classic design and styling, super comfortable. The really lightweight nature of these makes them very comfortable to wear and use. Should get another several years at minimum out of these things, and definitely have no complaints. Next up for my keys, I am still using the Orbitkey key organizer, and Orbitkey is actually sponsoring this week's EDC video, so huge thanks to them. As you all know, I've been using their key organizer for well over a year and long before they ever reached out to me, so that should speak volumes to my thoughts on this. Just a really simple and elegant way to keep your keys organized. I've done a lot of research on other options, and this has been my favorite by far that balances form and function. It makes a really neat and clean stack, so you don't have a button or some sort of fastener to be able to get to your keys, and on the opposite end of things, it's not so utilitarian where it's functional but kind of ugly. This is the perfect balance, in my opinion, out of all of the ones I've tested and tried. It holds 2 to 7 keys. They also make an optional extender if you want to carry more keys than that and still be able to use the key organizer. They also have a D-ring on the bottom there that can still attach to like normal car keys and key fob if you need. Tons of different colorways and options. I've still been using their National Geographic collab. This is the mountain topo map design. They all look great. They're super functional and easy to use, and they're all pretty reasonably priced as well. It's just nice not to have the big jingly keys around with you all the time. Outside of the key organizers, Orbitkey also makes a few things that are some of the best in their categories, in my opinion. They sent me out version 2 of their clip. This is really great, you know, if you attach your keys to a belt loop or inside of a loop into your backpack or sling bag. They also sent out the Orbitkey Nest for me to check out. The Nest is essentially a portable and customizable desk organizer. It has a built-in wireless charger on the top. This would be really great for any of you that travel to and from the office and want to kind of carry your EDC items or your desk items to home so you can work at home, take this to the office so you can work at the office. This would be an excellent option for that. All in all though, huge fan of the Orbitkey products. I put my money where my mouth was long before they ever reached out for this sponsorship. Be sure to check the links in the description below if you want to pick up any of this stuff. You can use code JoshFenn10 for 10% off your order as well. Huge thanks to Orbitkey for sponsoring this week's video. Next up, we have my AirPods Pro. I was using the Sony Link Buds for 4 or 5 months to test and review them. Those are still my main headphones I use for like outdoor hiking and backpacking and stuff. They're really lightweight and let the sound in really well. I'll probably be making a dedicated video for those soon. A few people said that they would be interested in hearing my thoughts, but back for like daily city use to the AirPods. One big change that I did make though is I got some of the Comply foam ear tips. They fit so much more comfortably in my ears than the default silicone tips that they come with. So if you're someone that wants the AirPods Pro but has had trouble with fit like I used to, they made a huge difference for me. So check out those foam ear tips if you've been having any fit problems with your AirPods since you got them. From there though, I have the Nano Bag. This was another item that was heavily recommended from all of you, and I've really grown to love it. I tried a few other really lightweight compact shopping bags. This one by far beats it out. The big difference with this is the fabric that they use. The one from Sea to Summit that I talked about previously was too slippery of a fabric, which made it too difficult to restuff, and this one still stuffs pretty easily. I think it weighs less than an ounce, probably like 20-25 grams or something like that. It's just been really nice to have. Like I said, I'm usually on foot. I don't use my car all that often on a day-to-day basis. You know, I'm walking around the city 100 to 200 miles every month. So it's nice to be able to, you know, if I'm getting groceries when I hadn't planned on it or something like that, it's great to have a bag with me. Moving on from the Nano Bag, we have the #1 most recommended product in the history of my YouTube channel, and that is the Mighty Hanks Handkerchief Microfiber Combo. I had to have at least gotten 100+ individual comments and recommendations for this thing since I put out my spring EDC update, and that's not even counting the recommendations I've gotten in years past. You all came out so hard for this thing, saying it is the greatest and best thing that you've ever used in the handkerchief category. And I'm really sorry to say that I kind of hate it. I've been dreading talking about this, and don't get me wrong, it's not a bad product, but it is definitely not for me. I want to make sure that's clear. I know these are like handmade by one person or a really small team, so I don't want to be bashing what they're doing because what they're doing is perfectly fine. It's just not the right fit for me. Gonna do a really quick, more official mini review of this. The stitching is really nice. Big fan of the quality of the stitching and the build. I think this will hold up for a really long time. The fabric feels really nice. The customization options are nice. The microfiber has worked pretty well. All in all of those things have been good. For cons, biggest thing for me is this is not designed for someone that has really bad allergies, especially springtime seasonal allergies going on right now. This is much too small for me. That's my #1 complaint. If you actually use this to blow your nose, you know, you might get 2 or 3 nose blows out of this. This is not enough for a day. So any allergy sufferers, I would never recommend this for you. Maybe if they made a bigger one. Part of the appeal is the smaller size, but that was the biggest drawback for me. So I wish, you know, they make 100 different customization options. Why don't they make different sizes? I would absolutely love if they offered different sizes. That would make this much more functional for me. And another kind of complaint gripe I have is the microfiber seems to be like a navy blue. If they're gonna have 100 customization options for the main fabric side, why don't they customize the microfiber to match the design that you choose? That was my other kind of complaint. You know, it's not a huge deal, but it was something I noticed that seemed weird for being such an expensive handkerchief. You know, I could buy 20 of my other handkerchiefs for the price of this one, and it was just a little weird to see the blue microfiber against the black design that I chose. But the biggest thing is just the size. It's way too small for me, and the fact that you only have one side to blow your nose with makes it even smaller. I'm used to one that's like double or triple the size of this with 2 sides. Makes it a lot better for anyone that suffers with allergies. So I'm sorry to say I kind of hate it. It's not a bad product though. I want to make sure, again, I'm not bashing this company or the product itself. It's just definitely not for me. I know all of you love this thing so much. I'd love to hear your thoughts on my thoughts about this specifically, because I just don't understand how so many people love it so much, and it was just such a complete failure for me. So I'm going to be switching back to my normal handkerchiefs after this video. But that covers all the table items, going over everything on my person. My hat I got from a store called Tender Loving Empire. You can see my crazy hat hair is why I usually wear hats, so I don't have to style my hair before I record videos. But I love this hat. Unfortunately, it can't be bought. I think this was a one-off that they had in the store. I'll link if I can find it again, but last I checked, I couldn't find it anywhere. My glasses are from Salt Optics. These are the Rumac model. I think they've been discontinued. I got them in 2017. Been wanting to get some new glasses. These lenses are pretty scratched up and the style doesn't really fit where I've moved with my style since 2017. I have my eyes on some other ones, but just got to decide what I want to do moving forward. My watch is a world time watch from Casio. This thing is like less than 20 bucks and amazing. I've been using it now for like 6 or 8 months or something and just can't recommend it enough. It's so cheap. I love the style and aesthetic of it. I always almost forget to mention as well, the sling I've been using is the Air Day Sling 3 Max. It's been great having the extra capacity. I've really gotten used to it. But overall, so my thoughts on carrying this more like fleshed out setup compared to my normal, more minimal setup. Most of the extra products still didn't really get used on any sort of regular basis when I'm out with my EDC. Doesn't mean they're bad products though, and I definitely understand why some people choose to carry them. I think it mostly just boils down to lifestyle differences. Because I work from home and live mostly on foot, I'm either here using all of this stuff, or if I'm out and about, I'm running to the grocery store, or I'm going on a quick video job where I have a whole kit and loadout for that, or if I'm out hiking or backpacking, I have whole separate gear for that. So in just most normal scenarios where I'm going out of my house without a specific activity in mind, I have different setups for all of those different things and just don't tend to need any of this stuff when I'm out running to the grocery store, going out to lunch or whatever. So a lot of these extras probably won't make it into my kit for the next update, but I have enjoyed using them, and I was using them before this as well, just not carrying them with me when I leave the apartment. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. If you've tried like a more fleshed out setup before, if you've tried a more pared down setup after getting used to a big setup, let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know your thoughts on my Mighty Hank's thoughts as well. Feel bad like I let down the group with so many recommendations, but it's just not the right fit for me. Thank you all so much for watching this one though, and I'll talk to you in the next one.